All right. All right, we are back. Welcome to Corbellic Studios. Today we're going to be doing some live painting right now. We are back. We are back. All right. A little bit late, but better late than never. You know why? Because look at this right here. Look at that. Look at that right there. Huh? Look at that software. You see now? Now we're really going to be painting together. You see that? How I'm able to have the palette shown now. So now we're going to be painting on top of here, but you can also see how I mix my colors, how much paint that I put on my brush. You can see what I'm talking about when I go inside my palette. So I spent time this weekend doing that. I'm in a new software right now, so that's why it took me some time to figure it out. But like I said, with anything in life, we always get better. So this is how we're going to get better. Just figuring things out. But at least that tomorrow I am going to have everything clear because now I know how to streamline it from the software compared to doing it from YouTube, how I did it before. So that's what took me a little bit while to make sure that the software was streamlined. All right, you understand. All right, I appreciate your patience. It's Monday, whatever. So going forward, it's going to be better because now we have this right here. Look at that screen right there. All right, I'm happy about that. Like I said, I spent the weekend really figuring this out, hammering it in. And like I said, the God is inside of us. All right, we're all creators. If anybody can do something, then we can do it. All right, that's how I feel about anything. Anything that I see somebody else has, if somebody else has it, if somebody else is able to do it, then we're able to do it as well. Nobody else is more special than us. We don't need to really go and do all these extraordinary other things that people think of. You just have to find it within yourself. I always say to myself that God has already blessed us by giving us 2 arms, 2 legs, a brain, so we can figure things out. All right, we figure things out and then we always get better. We always improve with speed. So that's what we're all about on this channel and this community. We're just always about making things better. All right. All right, let's see here. Cool, got me on the big screen. Everybody's here, got the palette view. That's what I'm talking about. See, this is what it's all about. Here it is right here. I'm here. I appreciate everybody's patience. Thank you for coming back here. Like I said, I was having difficulties with the other one. I set it up wrong, but at least now I know in the future how I set it up within the software. It's all cool. I'm happy to be here on Monday. Look, I missed you guys. I ain't even gonna lie. I missed you guys. I missed painting, but I had to take care of some business last week. You know how it is. I had to travel, but I also had to make sure that I had some new content that I was producing out there. I had to make sure that I had some new course lessons. I had to make sure that I had some other things, but whatever, business wise, it is what it is. All right, so today's painting, you can just see here. This is how I do my palette. I do my palette like this every morning. I mean, it's real simple. Some of these paints that I have, either it's more or some of them I have it that's less. But it's pretty much, this is the gist of what it is. This is the orange right here. I don't know if the color hue is a little bit off, but whatever. This is the orange, yellow. I got 2 separate types of red that I always play around with. I got the Blix red, which is a little bit more richer in color. It's the pigment's darker, and then I got the regular Liquidex red, which is a little bit kind of like an orangey, but sometimes I mix it. I don't know. It's a science to it, so I like doing that. I got to my 2 separate types of Cinia, the burnt Cinia, the raw Cinia, and then I always have two separate types of purple. I have the light purple, the dark purple. I got 2 separate types of blue. I have my I think this is what kind of blue is this? This is a cobalt blue. Sometimes I used to do navy blue, but it doesn't matter. You could do navy blue as well. Then I got the baby blue, and then I got a ton of black right here. Now, even though I have black right here, I always have the black right here in the jar. That way, if I want to hand style, if I want to freestyle and I just want to have it with my hand, I could do it here. But sometimes if I want to darken up colors, I could do it from right there. But that's the palette right there. It doesn't change. It's been like this for years. It's on top of a Stay Wet palette. All right, awesome palette. Let's go. All right, she said, "I'm glad that you were late because so was I." Yeah, that's what I like to do a little bit. You know, just try to have people come in, a little bit. But it sucks because now I have to figure something else out because I used to have a trailer that I used to put on, but I can only do that from inside the YouTube studio. But I can't start it from inside the YouTube studio because for some reason the software won't let me. So instead, I have to start it from inside the software. Whatever, it is what it is. I guess there's just no more trailer, but I'd rather have that so that way you can see the palette and we can work together and we can knock some paintings out. So I already have our first painting that's ready to go. We're gonna do a colorful buffalo. You know I love buffalo. Buyers love buffalo, customers love the buffalo. So we're going to do buffalo, but this one's going to be a little bit different because it's a little bit more colorful. So I'm excited about doing that. And yeah, like I said, I'm excited about being here this morning, getting some paintings done. You know that feeling where it's like we all need to rejuvenate. We all need to get that rest. We all need to have that time where we spend time with the family, or we just really need to take the time where we're just focusing on what the next week is going to be, the next business goals, to refresh a little bit and be like, write down what our day's going to be, write down what our schedule's going to be, really organize ourselves right into the next week. But you know that feeling, right? Where you're like, you get into the studio and you're like, oh, I just miss painting. Like, I miss painting. I love being an artist. I love creating. Like I said, we're all creators since we were kids. It's inside of us to create. It just feels good. Even if I don't know what I'm doing, even if it's going to be messy or ugly, I just love getting in here where it's like I'm about to have some paintbrushes and I'm just about to let the chips fall where they may with you. I don't care, but we're going to do this together and let's see what goes on. All right, let's get started. All right. All right. Exactly. Got the palette set up. This is going to be so cool. Like I said, visual ASMR. So got Jaded Hunter here. Got Lee here. Got AZ Lady. Bless Studio. Snapchat. I got everybody here. Let's see here. I appreciate it. I appreciate it again. You know me, I'm somewhat like a perfectionist, right? So that's why I know how to think outside where it's like not to be a perfectionist and how to paint fast and how to go along with volume and speed because I'm such a perfectionist where I had to battle it for years so that way I know the psychology against it. Trust me, you guys can't beat yourself up enough more than I beat myself up. So that's why I'm able to talk to you about going through the progression, the psychology, and how to work faster and how to create. But yeah, I'm like a perfectionist, so it was killing me while I was like trying to figure out the software, and I'm like, dang, I'm late. All right, cool. Let's get this thing going. Let's start our. All right, here's our buffalo right here. Check this out. Isn't that cool? Look at that buffalo right there. So on this one, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with the dark colors. That's what I want to do. Sometimes I'll start in with the colors, like the bright colors, and then I might do the black on the outside. But then a lot of times I'll start with the colors too, because on this one I think it's going to look good for us to build on top of that dark layer, and then we'll go straight into it. I think this one's going to be a quick one, and then we're going to be on to the next one. So let's start our timer right now. The title of this video is why 2026 is going to be the best year to start your eBay store, to start selling art on eBay. It's going to be the best. Why? Because markets are cyclical. Markets are cyclical. I don't know if anybody paid attention to the market this weekend. I mean, but the whole world crashed and like some people didn't even bat an eye, people who weren't paying attention, or maybe some people didn't even bat an eye because, you know, we've been sideways for like a year now. Sideways means that there's no real movement on the market. It's just like up, down, but not like any strong ups or downs. But this one was like the greatest crash since 1929. Gold, silver, crypto. Surprisingly, the market didn't open too bad today, but it also had an effect on the market of this weekend because certain news that got released and certain files that got dropped. It had an effect on the market because certain things in those documents was showing proof how the market is manipulated and how certain coins in the digital space were propped up by these how do I say it on YouTube without getting flagged, by these grapers. and it crashed certain things. But that's a great thing because then it just shows where the liquidity is coming back into the market because it shook out the hands of manipulators. Now, you're like, what does this have to do with selling art? What are we talking about here? There's about to be so much cash inflow into the market. Like I told you, there's about to be so much liquidity, more than probably the past 50, 60 years, maybe 100 years. There's about to be so much liquidity into the market. And when there's liquidity into the market, one of the things that people buy as assets is they buy a lot of art. And the good thing of where we stand at, they buy original art. They buy art that they can't get from nobody else. See, the thing about art markets and all those other galleries and other places is like when you go to one, you're gone to all of them, right? You're gone to 1,000 of them. Because all of them have the same type of artwork. They play it so safe. They play it so safe. All their artwork looks the same. They play it so safe. Your artwork is original. And the days are over where people feel like they want to go to these art galleries to pay certain prices and deal with the whole market of that is over with. So instead, they do digital online, and eBay's the best when it comes to that. Now, the reason that they go online to get the original art is because who wants to deal with asking the gallery, what's this price point? So the gallery could try to gouge it because they want to gouge it because now there's liquidity in the market, and they want to try to overcompensate for the loss that they've had over the past 6 years. And people aren't having that. The also cool thing too is that when the market goes up, people buy art, right? But this time around, people are more sophisticated about their money. So when they're more sophisticated about their money, they're not going to these galleries no more. Those galleries aren't coming back. Instead, they come back to eBay so they can get your original art because you're creating art that's different than what people have already seen of the polar bears, the perfect polar bear hairs. And the market is all going to be projected to flood to eBay and Etsy. And I mean, I'm telling you, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I wish that I was you right now, where I'm starting my eBay store off. Even if you just started it 3 months ago, you're just starting. Even if I was just like in your shoes now, I'm so jealous because this is such the perfect time to sell. I mean, there's been times, especially over the past 5 years, where the market has was just totally different and the trajectory was all for selling art. But I just see such the influx now, and there's going to be so much. There's going to be. I'm just happy. I think I'm so excited because today's the second, right? And there's just so much cash flow that's coming in because people are getting their income tax checks now. I mean, I've waited for this moment. I waited for this moment for 3 months. I mean, I always do, but this one is more important because once that happens, we're talking about a time bomb that's about to happen. And there's going to be so many people spending money. So what I always say is with the market now there's going to be liquidity coming into the market that's so heavy. But on top of that, people are going to be spending, so it's going to boost the economy because of the refund. But then as soon as, because the tax season is like from February to May, June. But then by that time, what is around that time that really boosts the economy? It's summertime, vacations. People go on vacations. People really spend money then. So then you're talking about a double triple, no, a double by that time. But then after the summertime and when it's school season, then we're back into holiday time already. It's going to go by so quick. We're talking this year is going to be one boom after another. I really don't see a bull yet. I mean, there was a bull now, but it was only to shake out the market, which is a great thing because there was too many people who were taking advantage over the past 4 or 5 years to manipulate. And we knew it was going on, but you just couldn't like prove it. And then it was like now with certain emails coming out, it was like, dang, it was proven all the time this whole time. They were controlling the market and manipulating it. It's proven. What? The government was in cahoots manipulating the market. If you weren't part of the mastermind meeting yesterday in the elite community, you need to go check that out because we were just talking about that as well. Talking about one of my new lessons that I have in there, where I have a new course that's in there, and I was saying like that's the market. The market is rugged and pulled. So if you think that eBay's not rugging and pulling the market, if you think that large corporations aren't doing it, then you just don't understand what the market is. And I'm not forcing you to understand the market or be a part of that, but I'm just saying we have a way of having where the advantage is, and we play the same game. But even with that, if you are part of the meeting, you still have to do what I'm doing right now, which is still show up to work. You would have to be there to understand what I'm talking about. If you're not already part of the elite community, then click the link. It's pinned to the top, so you can see what we're talking about. And we have the highest advantage of the market. Let's see here. He said this the silver riggers. Exactly, the silver riggers. But I mean, most importantly, what that was about is that over the weekends, see, the gold and silver went so high because it went so high when it was closing. A lot of the banks, they leveraged on gold and silver. So then when the weekend happened and then it got pulled on, basically they didn't have the leverage to fund their leverage and they lost it. So they lost a lot of money. A lot of banks pretty much went out of business this weekend and nobody heard about it. And the news isn't going to report and tell you about it because the news works for the banks. I'm telling you, I guess what I'm trying to say to you, if you're not paying attention to what's going on, is there's a war going on and it's been for a while, but it's not about the war that you might see on TV. Those are distractions. The war is the finance and the banks and the old capital of the world transferring to the new wealth. And if you're not part of it now, then you're going to lose out on it. This is the time now in 2026 where you need to get your finances in order. You need to get everything in order and make your money now, or you're going to be broke. You either get rich now or you're going to be broke. And this is a situation where it's like this is a blessing where you could sell art on eBay, you could get your money and then put it in the right situation, put yourself in the right situation so that way you could be taken care of and your family could be taken care of. I'm starting a I'm starting a money a mastermind group soon inside the elite community where I'm going to be talking about what to do with your winnings or what you can do. I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not allowed to say stuff like that but just money mindset ideas and things of what to do with your winnings, what to do with your future. That's how, a lot of times for me, when I'm able to create so much art, when I'm able to work fast, what I say to myself is that the help that helps me at least is that I'm not doing this forever. I look at a exit plan, and that's what helps me is like, as long as I know like, oh, this isn't forever, and I know I have an exit plan and I know I have a business strategy, those are the things that help you get motivated. Those are the things that help you wake up early in the morning and get to work. Especially now in the world where we have the greatest transfer of wealth that's happening right now. And nobody knows about it because the media can't tell you about it because they want you to be broke. And you have a situation right now, you have a rare opportunity in your life where you can be a part of the wealth transfer. Anybody can right now. I mean, that's really what I'm talking about on the title of this video when I'm saying that it's the greatest time to sell art. It's the greatest time to sell art because there's such an influx of liquidity coming into the market, especially with now it's tax season, but also other liquidity, but also that it's the greatest wealth transfer and you could be a part of it. But if you're not a part of it now, then you could be broke. AI is already here. There's no going back. There's nothing you could do about it. Um, let's see here. Do you always paint with a 1/2 inch brush because it helps you paint fast and loose? Not always. Not always, but yeah, I mean, I it's a game changer for me. I wish that I started doing this. I wish that I started painting with the this isn't a 1/2 inch. This is this is an inch. The larger brushes is the game changer. Let's see here. I missed it, unfortunately. I had to temporarily bow out of a lead. The snowball is moving, just not enough yet. I'm sure it was an awesome meeting, though. You missed out on the meeting because I have a new course in there that would have been perfect for you. Send me a message in the community, and I can talk to you about it. But it was perfect. It would be perfect for you. How we really get that snowball effect moving and how you could control the margins on there. Discerning Light says, "Oh, look, you made the palette view cam." Exactly. Yep. You asked, I do. You requested, so I did. If you give me a request, more than likely at times I'll end up doing it. In the moment, I might give you a little bit of a hard time about it, but I'll do it. Leave some likes if you haven't already. Let me know that you appreciate what's going on here. Just give me the likes. Just give me the likes. So that's a way for how to produce fast, how to go about your structure, how to go about your day is think about it right now where everything is moving, everything has already been moved over. We're in a financial war. There's no more bombs and bullets and sending people over to countries. That's TV stuff. It's banks trying to keep their their old way, and the central banks losing its structure. So if you don't do the right thing now with your wins, wins isn't just about, I think about everything of now as for the future. So you don't have to work in the future. You could be retired soon if you play your cards right now. And you only have a small window to do that. And that's now. Paint faster, work harder, not for so you could buy some more, so you could buy some Gucci sunglasses or some clothes and things like that. It's for the near future, so you don't have to work. We're talking about retirement in 3-5 years or less. What did I do with my paper towel? Maybe I threw it away. Yeah, we're at technology wars. We're at AI wars. We're at processing chips wars with Nvidia, Palatar, XAI, OpenAI. These are the things that are already powering, these are the things that are already powering the financial system now. It's no more of the old guard of the Federal Reserve that's supposed to be independent. Like the Federal Reserve is owned by the Bank of London, but that's already been dissolved. And they won't tell you that. All right, I'm done with this one. Let's turn this light on. Let me sign this off. It's not bad for a first one. Let me give it a little bit of a frame. You know I like frames. On this one, I'm gonna give it a white frame because why not? I made a video recently or last week that says there's no excuse to be broke in 2026. There's no excuse to be broke in 2026. God gave us a brain to use. If anybody else can do it, then we can do it too. If it's up to them, they're going to try to keep you still in these positions to be a work slave. You're doing these positions that don't even matter and they're already obsolete. They're already old. They just have you doing it and sitting there just so you could be a slave. They don't need you there. They already have AI that could do what you're doing. It's riskier to have a job in 2026 than it is to have your own business. Let's see here. Let me take a picture of it. Yeah, just send me a message on there and I can talk to you about it. All right, cool. Awesome. I'll check it out after the stream and let you know. All right, look at Buford right here. This is Buford. Huh? Look at Buford right there. Isn't it nice? There's our buffalo. We did that quick. We did that together. Our first painting, not too bad. We're still getting warmed up, all right? Uh, and right now these are just 14 by 11s. I like 14 by 11s because I could do them really quick. I can knock them out. They're good studies, especially with my 1-inch brush, but also because I think of profits, all right? I think of money. Like I can make almost the same amount of money with these 14 by 11s, if not more, and I can have more of a profit point by just putting them in the type of packaging that we do, which is practically free. Our packaging is free. I show everything about that inside the elite community, how we do it for free, and that's all profit. So why am I gonna? I like 16 by 20s, but man, there's just a pain sometimes for me to box them up, and I gotta buy the box, and I gotta do all this other extra stuff. Like, on to the next. Buford the Buffalo. Buford is beautiful. Thank you. He is beautiful. So also, why this is the best year to do original authentic art on eBay is because that whole trend of 3, 4 years ago of people doing drop shipping on Amazon and all of that, those days is over with. Inflation killed them on that one. And it was just such a hassle. People got burned out of that. TikTok trends, saturated, expensive. And then they don't want to work. So they say, oh, eBay's so boring though. That's success. Most of the time, things that are successful are boring. That's why I also made a video last week where I talked about make sure that you drop your dopamines. Make sure that you're comfortable doing mundane and boring. That way you can have fun doing the mundane and boring. Have fun. Say to yourself, this is going to be like I enjoy doing it. But other people, some of the things that we do, they might find mundane and boring because their dopamine levels are so jacked up because they're so used to watching Netflix. They're so used to being on the phone. They're so used to being on the computer. They're so used to being distracted. When you get distracted, you don't want to do the simple stuff. A lot of times when I say to people that you have to do a number amount of canvases or just focus on the work at hand, they can't do it because their dopamine levels are so high and they find it boring. You want to be successful, you got to do the boring. It is what it is. All right, so this is going to be a landscape impressionism right here. I love doing these type of paintings because I kind of feel like I get to do what I want. All right, I get to do what I want. There's no wrong when it comes to these landscape impressionisms because the color is just so abstract. It's all over the place. So let's get into here. I'm using the 1-inch brush right now. And there we go. We're just gonna make the sky a little bit beautiful. We got a little bit of that blue right there. I gotta keep reminding myself that you're able to see my palette. So I need to think about it how like Bob Ross goes about it. We got a little bit of purple right there. Let's add a little bit of purple. Okay, let's go into this white right here. You see how we go into that white? We go into that white, we make it all right. All right, there we go now. Question: do you create digitally and then project to the paint to do your thing? Nope, I don't. I don't do it that way. I use AI. That sounds like double work. Like me create it by hand and then create it again. Heck no. That's too much work. I mean, you can if you want to. I just don't do it that way. You can if you want to. Like if you have some old sketches or if you have some things that you do on like your what do they call it? Those iPad thingy majiggies or whatever. If you have something like that, then you can do that. If you have a bunch of them, you could do that. It's art. There's no rules. All right, let's do our mountain. And then we're just gonna go in here with the mountaintop. Yeah, there we go. So when I say it's the best time to sell art, I'm saying it's the best time to sell art because there's actually a game plan that you can do with your life with it. For a lot of for many years you could just be painting and it's just about the money and then that's it. And then it's still like a situation where you can't really change the market or the market's really not changing like that. I mean, the whole purpose of the federal bank, of the central bank is to make sure that you don't get ahead. That's the whole that's the whole build of it. But you have an opportunity now between now and in June where all of your money can actually go to freeing yourself from slavery, not just consumerism and high interest rates, but you have a real opportunity now with selling on eBay. I mean, and if that doesn't help you, if you can't say that to yourself and that doesn't help you get outside of your ego to be like, I'm just going to create whatever, it doesn't matter what I create because in the near future, I'm going to be retired. I'm getting out of slavery. Then I don't know what will. These are the things that I put in my mind to help me work fast, to help me create. I'm not creating for now. I'm creating where I'm going to be retired soon. I'm going to be out of slavery. You say these things to yourself, it's real easy to wake up in the morning and be like, this isn't for long. If you say these things, especially if you say it to like maybe your loved ones, your husband, your wife, it feels better of the idea of what you're doing as a business in comparison to just being like, I'm just painting and you don't know, you don't have an exit plan. You don't know what you're really doing it for, you know? But like I said, I always talk about making your whys powerful. These are things that you could write as what your whys are. Now, you might not have the total answers right now, but as long as you put these things in your mind, you could change your reality and make it into that. It's only when I start saying these things to myself and having these type of affirmations is that I was able to change my life. Like I said, we have to be a time walker. You have to be walking in the future. Future proves past. You say these things to yourself and then you end up becoming that. Your life end up becoming that. The future becomes that. If you don't, then you're just always going to be stagnant of where you are, and that's where they want you. If you're okay with that, cool. I'm not. I'm not even okay with you being stagnant. The whole purpose of me even doing this is to free as many people as I can. Because, like I said, I didn't need to do it. I could have been selfish and still quiet about it. But then I had a conversation with God. He was like, go free them, Corby. The same way have you been blessed. But go spread the message. But those who don't want to listen, then you can't help them. That's fine. You can't save everybody. There's an old there's an old saying, right? And I'll probably butcher it, but I'm pretty sure you heard something very similar where it was like the man goes to heaven, talks to God, and he's like, "How come you didn't save me from that hurricane or whatever?" He was like, God was like, "I sent you the boat. I sent you that helicopter. I sent you that dog. I sent you the tools. I gave you the arms and the legs so that way you could crawl on the roof for safety. And then when the helicopter came, when the boat came, you said, no, 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 God's coming, God's coming. And then you died. And then you're like, hey, how come you didn't help me when I was there? He's like, I sent you all of these things. I sent you all of them. That's up to you at those points. If you either took it or if you didn't take it. Like, I already sent you those things. That's how I view about a lot of things. It's like when we were born, God already gave us these tools to help ourselves. He gave us a brain, he gave us two legs, he gave us two arms. Now, some people can't do it or they don't want to do it, then that's a personal choice. You can't waste your time trying to spend time and your energy on that, saving that. And there's going to be a lot of people like that. I'm pretty sure that you personally know who's like that in their own lives or in your own life. And that's another video that I did last week as well too. It's like you can't save everybody. Don't even spend time trying to save everybody or try to get them on your frequency. You're just going to mess your frequency up and lower your vibration. Let's see here. Um, when's your birthday and how old are you? I'm into astrology. I'll just tell you this that I'm a Pisces. I'm a strong Pisces at that. You're like, figures. I knew it. Let me get back to my pie chart and look at the stars. I'm a pie chart. I'm a strong Pisces. So it's like, I'm the fish. I go against the stream. Pisces, strong Pisces are connected to Jesus and the Holy Trinity. That's me. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. That's true. I know the story. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know I butchered the story, but I just wanted to make it quick. You get the gist, right? Like, I love the story. There's different versions of it because it's so true. There's also another saying where it says that prayer isn't a substitute for work. Like, prayer is great. That's one of the things that I talk about in the course. It's like one of the later ones because I want you to get straight into it. But it's the mindset. You need to, even if you're not a religious person, that's fine too, because we all have the freedom to have different views. That doesn't make you any different or better or worse. But even if you're not, still meditate. Then meditate is a form of prayer. There's forces, there's energy in the world that you don't see. You know that electricity works, but you don't see it. You know that gravity works, but you don't see it. There's certain forces in the world, and one of the forces is that there is a creator, there is a God. No matter what the religion is, there is something that, what Tesla used to call it, Nikola Tesla, is that the creator is inside of all of us, just like even Jesus Christ knew this. But Jesus Christ always said that he was one with God, because he also knew that the creator is inside of us. But how Nikola Tesla used to say it is that we're like an antenna, because there's actually a source of information. So Nikola Tesla said that he was never a genius. He said that we were all geniuses, that Nikola Tesla knew how to tap into the energy of the creator of God, because we are all antennas, where the source is there's a source, but he taps into it because it's inside of all of us. And the energy, just like where there's energy here on earth, whether you have a positive and negative, he just knew how to tap into the source where we're like an antenna of God. Yes, give me my horoscope. I'll give you more information. Give me my horoscope. I want to hear it. I want to hear all the good stuff. Hearing the good stuff like that will it's also like, those are good placebos. Gimme. Let me know what you need from me without me diverting too much information. Gimme. I got off track here. Didn't know what I was talking about, but I think we were talking about can't lead a horse to water, or that famous quote. Or yeah, what we were talking about is that prayer isn't a substitute for hard work. So I just love that. I love that quote as well, because there's some people out there who's like, all right, God, I'm waiting for you to get the work. I'm waiting for you so I can get the work. And God's like, I already did the work for you. You're born. You got a brain. You got 2 arms. You got 2 legs. Yes, pray, meditate, center yourself. That's fine. But you still got to do the work. So I always stress that out. Like I stress that out in almost every other video, or I stress that out in every week, where it's like, you still got to do the work. Like it doesn't matter the opportunity that you have. You still have to show up. Nobody else is going to do the work for you but you. You still have to do the work. And God will reward you. I mean, have you ever met somebody who's gone to the gym or who went to the park by themselves when no one else is looking? The only person who's looking is that person and God. And they've done 1,000 push-ups and that person didn't get buff or didn't get in shape. It doesn't it's impossible. It doesn't happen. It's the same thing with work. You still have to work. I don't know anybody out there who hasn't put in some type of work. It doesn't matter if it's I'm talented, it's ugly, it's whatever. You could do 1,000 stick figures and you put the work in, and I guarantee you'll be successful. It doesn't matter. I need your birthday time and place you were born. That's a lot of info. Hey, send me a message in the community. The link is right there. Send me a message in the community. Maybe I'll give you my sign and stuff. Maybe I'll give you my info. It'll be interesting to hear your take. I'm open. I'm open minded. I'm Corbellic. I'm open minded. You know me. I think it would be great too. That's interesting that you said that. I had a dream last night about someone I haven't thought of in years, but their father, who passed away during COVID, he was into astrology, and he used to always give me my readings. And it's so weird. I haven't thought about this person in years, but for some reason, I had a dream about her last night, and that's the only person who I know in my whole life who actually I would listen to when it came to my readings. So that's interesting that you came at. So yeah, that's a way, certain situations that you'll have like that too, where certain things will remind you of certain people or certain situations. Those are usually situations that you need to hone in as well too, because that's usually where it's like God's talking to you. We all have situations like that. Something you haven't thought of in years, decade, almost close to a decade, right? And then something else pops up that's like, like I haven't had anybody offer a reading to me in like close to a decade or so, right? And then all of a sudden I hear that today, but last night out of the blue, somebody who I haven't thought of in a while, their father used to give me readings. Some people are funny though. They're like, readings are the devil. It's the devil. I mean, only if you put your energy to that. If that's the frequency that you put it at, then you're right. Anything that you say, you're right. But back to what I was saying, you still have to do the work. Prayer is not a substitute for hard work. Can't be on your knees forever. Some people are like that. Some people are like, all right, I'm on my knees. Come on, God, where's my $1,000,000? Didn't you see? I showed up to church every single day and I'm praying. I'm on my knees every single day. I'm going to church every single day. I don't have to work, God. What are you talking about? Didn't you see me? I went to church and I paid you tithe. I paid you 10% of my paycheck and I'm on my knees. Give me my $1,000,000. How come I'm not hitting the lottery? Not knowing that they could just already hit the lottery if they just did the work. That's how I look at it. I mean, I used to say to myself that I used to say, I'm not a lucky person. And I used to think other people are lucky. I'm not a lucky person. But then I used to also say to myself on top of that, after that, I used to be like, but I become lucky. I have to work hard. And sometimes we think other people are lucky or certain situations like that, or other people, there are certain things in their life. Oh man, it works out for them, but really you don't even understand their struggle or how hard they had to work. And work always works. So that's why it's like preparation meets opportunity is work. I have like anytime that I've gotten lucky, oh, I got lucky. Oh man, that commission came through. Something, it's like it's always based off of work. So it goes back to what I'm saying that as long as you work works. If you want to beat the odds, if you want to be in the favor, then work. God loves people who work. There's nothing more that God loves than you honoring his avatar and you showing up to work. I mean, also giving grace and giving thanks. Whenever we say things like that, sometimes we just think it's like we're so used to hearing it, especially as children, right? Give thanks, give praise, yeah, yeah, yeah. And we don't realize that's really the cheat code until somebody has to break it down to you. The real cheat code is that you have to be grateful. You have to be thankful for everything that you have, even if you don't have. And then that's how you're able to get more. See, the older when before people could actually read, because you could only have to be special to read, or in order to read the Bible, the real powers was that they knew the power of giving thanks. That's the real way how to pray, is giving thanks, being grateful for your life, being grateful for everything. And then that's how you receive. If you're connected to God, who needs readings or astrology? And that's true too. Love it. Faith includes action. Exactly. Faith is actions. And thank you for the live. Thank you for the super chat, Jade and Hunter. I thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. God loves action. I'm telling you, God loves it. God loves action so much. I know it. I know it. And you know it too. Like, that time. I can't tell. Like, I always go back to the analogy of working out, or the gym or something like that, right? But it's just such a simple analogy to talk about because we all relate to it. But there's so many other things in your life, right? There's something out there that you did, that you pushed yourself, you worked hard, and then you feel good. Like sloth is one of the sins. They never talk about that. They always talk about the simple ones. Do not kill, do not steal, do not, but a lot of these things are our moral compass anyways. Even if the great book wasn't written, a lot of these things are already instilled in our spirit, that most of us don't want to kill and don't want to steal. We would already, but one of the things that they don't talk about is sloth. Sloth is one of my big ones. I always think about sloth when I think about, one of the sins. One of the great sins is sloth. You have to honor, God's avatar, which is you. And I just always know when someone is actually working or when they're not working. I know because as long as you're working, you'll be blessed. And you know that feeling too, where it's like maybe you went to the gym or something, right? Or maybe you did something and you really pushed outside yourself. You really worked it. You worked it and you got in shape, or you got more successful in your business, or you got whatever it is, because work always works. Even if no one is looking. And the the cool part about work is, which is such a blessing from God, is that a lot of it cost us nothing. It cost us nothing. It cost us nothing to show up to just work. It cost us nothing to. It cost us nothing to wake up at 5 a.m. But doesn't it feel good when you finally do it? You don't want to do it, but then when you finally do the work, doesn't it feel good? You ever have a coach, right? You have a coach that pushes you in the right direction, something that you would have never been able to do on your own. He pushes you in the right direction because you never would have been able to do it. And then you do it, and don't you feel so good about yourself? Don't you feel so proud? You always feel so proud about yourself because it's inside of you, and you're like, dang. Then what feels good is that you know that you can do it. You know that you're capable. And you're like, you feel so good. That's the power of God. It's inside of all of us. And it costs us nothing. And we can be so grateful for the opportunity that the work. There's been so many times in my life where I wasn't grateful enough just for the opportunity to work. And then I've had things happen to me in my life, right? Where because I wasn't grateful for the opportunity, you know, I had to humble myself. I made a video last week explaining how I lost it all during the hurricanes and during the hurricanes in Tampa, Florida, and then the fires here in LA. And that's when I had a conversation with God and giving back. That's the whole birth of our community right now. The whole birth of our community right now was when I lost everything. And God said, give it back. Here you were making all this money. You were being selfish. You were scared to show people about how you use the projector. You were scared to show how you paint, how you do the program, how you like give it all back. Give it all back and it comes back to you. But not only that, you're gonna feel better. And it does. Work works. If I didn't have the situation, my setback that happened in Florida, if I didn't have my setback that happened here in LA, then God was with me where he gave it all back. He gave it back and more in less than a year. But as soon as that situation happened, I remember I was on my knees, had a prayer. We talked. Give it back. That was the only answer. Give it back. It costs nothing. And sometimes we just make things so difficult. We make things so difficult because we're prideful. And what is it? Pride is also a sin. Pride comes before the fall. We're so prideful because we don't want to do the work. And it's like, it's not going to kill you. It costs nothing. That's the other psychology too that most people don't understand. And we need to say it to ourselves more often. You don't even need money to change and be who you're meant to be tomorrow. It's never too late in your life. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's never too late to become who you were meant to be. It costs nothing. It costs nothing to work hard. And then once you do, it comes back to you. All right, let's sign this bad boy off. And then I could read some chats. All right, let's see here. Let's take this off. There is our mountain landscape. Beautiful, beautiful landscape right there in the mountains. All right, what state, what city would you say this is at? All right, what setting is this painting at? Because the beautiful part is I don't know, and I'm asking you because there's a buyer out there, there's a collector out there. Whenever you create your art, it's going to remind them of where they went on vacation. It's going to remind them where they spent their honeymoon. It's going to remind them of where they were born and stuff like that. That's the cool part too, is that you have to create a different variety of things. You may not like it in the moment, you may not be into it, but trust me, God knows where to place this painting, and that's the beautiful part about it. All right, let's read some chats. A lot of chats here. Any super chats for me to read? Let's see here. If I am able to support you, I will. I appreciate your videos. Jaded Hunter says, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Jaded Hunter. You mean a lot. That means a lot. If we can master, AZ Lady says, if we can master the number one commandments, the rest is easy. Love one another. Can be really hard to do sometimes. Yeah, that's true. And there's a lot of systems in place and things in place to try to have us divided, and it's like that on purpose. But a lot of times I remind myself as that as well. It's interesting that you said that. I said that yesterday. I said, the best thing about the community is that I try to be there for everybody in the time that I do have, and it feels good to love one another. One of my neighbors, right? It doesn't matter who's walking by or who's like at their house or walking by. He always is like, "Good morning, good morning," and he has this spirit. And I was like, "That's such a great spirit to have," because I feel that way as well. And I'm like, be like, "Hey, good morning. It's happy to see you. Good to see you." It's like, once we love each other and we give back, I think that's the biggest part. That's how I was able to start this community. That's how I was able to start it, is by trying to love one another, love each other. Because this is the thing that I always say, is that it doesn't matter how much money we have here. Or I mean, life goes by very short. We can't take it with us. But the thing is that all of us have a struggle, or we have something going on that you might not know. Even if you're a millionaire, you're a billionaire. We all go through something here on this planet, and it costs us nothing at all to just, hey, good morning, and love each other. How are you doing? Bring that spirit back, because people appreciate it. It feels good when you have somebody who does that, even if they're a stranger. All right, let's see here. What else? Javon says, I need someone like you to push me in all my businesses. I coach I coach people in their business as well. So I'm a financial coach and a business coach. But this is my main one right now is my art coach, or eBay. But I definitely do finance and business coaching as well for the mindset. And I mean, I've had over 77 different corporate jobs in my life, financial jobs in procurement and different things like that. I used to be an analyst, so I know all about the ins and outs with that boring money side, but just the money side, but also just life in general. And I've always had an old soul even before I got into corporate America. So a lot of these things help combine these things of who you are. All right, let's see what else we got here. When I wake up at 5:30 a.m. to go take a hike, it feels good to watch the sun come up on the mountains. It's so inspiring. I love that. That's such a great thing too. Yeah, especially here in Los Angeles. Let's see here. I've been doing art all my life, and it's been hardest to really get successful. My father always said, "You will never make money." Yeah, and that's a lot of the things that we talk about as well too inside the community. A lot of our fears and a lot of our mindset comes from what our parents said, our peers said, where it's always like, "You're going to be a starving artist." That's why I never wanted to get into it as well either, because like I said, I come from the finance world, so it's like, you're a starving artist. That's the worst thing that you could, like. I don't want to be no starving artist. That's why I was like, I don't even tell people I'm an artist. I mean, we're more than that. We're not our careers and what we do as people. But I would say something like, I'm in e-commerce. I'm in digital marketing, because this is what I do. All right, let's see here. So if you're not already Jovan, then send you could click the link that's tagged that's pinned to the top of the community, so you could join the community. I can help you out with your art journey, and also talk to you about other business and a mindset. You can get mindset from there. So join the community. We'd be happy to have you. It's not just here's a course and you can figure it out all yourself. It's a community where you have a whole bunch of like-minded people, a lot of hard workers, and people who's already been there, so they could get you going along the way. All right, Jada Hunter says, this is an awesome community. It's worth more than anything to have the support of your own kind. It's so rare to find it, like the winning lottery. Exactly. Wyoming. Oh, that's great. That's exactly what I think of that painting, is Wyoming. Better than any Bob Ross, in my opinion. Wow, that really means a lot to me, because that's dad right there. All right, now it's time to get on to the next painting. Enough of this shenanigans with you guys. Leave the likes if you haven't already. Leave the likes. Also, I hope you love this new camera setup that I have right here. See, I spent money out my own pocket to get everything set up for you guys. Leave me some super chats if you're able to, but if you're not able to leave me super chats, then that's fine as well. Leave me likes, but most importantly, just join the community. Click in if you're not able to support. Join the community. And oh, Joby, yeah, okay, Joby, awesome. You're great. You're a great addition to the community. Thank you for everything. You're doing a great job. You just started too, but you're really engaged. I appreciate you. Oh, you're in Australia and the sun isn't even up. Who needs sleep? Right. All right, let's do the next one. I appreciate you. All right, let's get this rocking and rolling. Great your new setting. I paint along. I think it's great too. I love it. All right, let's do this. Love your setup. I appreciate it. Thank you. I love it too. It took me a while to figure it out, but like anything, we're going to figure it out. So just like yesterday, if you were part of the our live or our mastermind Q&A meeting, I was having a little bit difficulties because it was the first time that I was doing it from YouTube, and I couldn't figure out how to configure how to show my face on there, but the camera was, and whatever. I learned it. I love that about life as well too. You know how there's like some things in your mind where you'll make things bigger challenges in your mind than what they are in real life, and it's just about you to be like, all right, just stop and let's just focus in on completing the task. So I had this request for maybe like 2 weeks now, something so simple. But then even me, it's like certain small things you'll put into mountain stones in your mind, and you could just do it. Just do the work. Just be like, figure it out. And there's ways to figure it out. So um, that's just like anything in life. If somebody else can do something, then you can do it as well too, and you could get better at it. There's nothing that I can do that you can't do, and there's nothing that you can do that I can't do. Or there's nothing that if you ever see a millionaire, billionaire, or whatever, these people are not special. We are all created from the same thing. And a lot of times these people, when you talk to them or when you meet them, they all feel like they're frauds anyways. And here you are limiting yourself on simple stuff instead of just buckling down. But you always feel better when you do what is it? The work. What do we always talk about? The work. You just got to do the work. And once you do the work, everything always comes together for you. It always comes together. So that's the things that I always think of. I always just try to every single day I'm just trying to get better than who I was yesterday. And just getting a little bit better. As long as I'm a little bit better than yesterday, then that's fine. But even if I'm not better than yesterday, because maybe that like you can't keep always scaling like that. That's fine. Maybe I can't always be better than yesterday. But what I can always do is I always take a reflection. I have like a journal diary, right? And I always reflect to see what can I learn from today's mistakes or mishaps that I could put into implementation tomorrow? Those are my type of checklists that I like to do. What are the things that helped me up today? Even if they held me up mentally, what are the type of things that I can work on mentally that I will work on tomorrow, and then I'll put that into the new checklist going forward. You know, for me, for example, one of my new checklist things that I'm doing for myself. Here, hold on, I gotta dry this out, but I know you can still hear me. One of the things that I'm doing, thank you so much, Verdan Garden. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. The $5 super chat. That's what we're talking about right there. You always sending me that love. So one of the things that, like, for example, that I'm implementing in my work is that I come in early, and I got to do a bunch of pre-work anyways before I do this, when I set everything up. But I do this hour and a half to 2 hours of live streaming where we're painting together, and now you get to see also the palette. Okay, that's a new checklist. That's a new implementation. Now, also, what I do when I'm done with this is I wait for the video to be uploaded on YouTube, which takes like a couple minutes or so, and then I download it. Then once it's downloaded, I chop it up into 30-minute segments or whatever the segments are of the topics that we're talking of. Then I make those into videos to re-release on YouTube. So that way people don't have to watch these whole videos of like an hour and a half or 2 hours. They can just go into certain segments that I edited that are the 30 minutes, 20 minutes or whatever of me discussing whatever we're discussing during that time. So then I do that every single day, and it's easier for me to just chop it up as soon as I'm done editing this video. And I do that all at once. And then I create the thumbnails and then I schedule them out for the week. Now, if I do that every day, then that's fine. But what I kind of messed up on over the past like 2 weeks, and I had to spend a lot of time last week doing, is I would shoot these videos, right? That what we're doing. I would shoot our videos, and I would have 4 of them because that's what we were doing. We were doing Monday through Thursday. So I would have these videos that was Monday through Thursday, and then I knew that I had Friday time, right? A little bit, but I'm still doing emails and I'm still doing my other businesses. So I would say to myself, okay, on Friday, I'm going to come in and I'm going to edit those 4 videos, and I'm going to chop all of those 4 videos up that I did Monday. There's live streams, I mean, Monday through Thursday videos. But the problem is with those, on each video, I have to chop up like maybe 3 to 4 different segments. And that takes a little bit of a time because I still have to go in and I have to listen to what the topic is so I can know how to title it and I can know how to go about it, or I can know when the beginning and when the end is. And I have to chop them up. Now, if you're talking about doing 4 videos like that, we're talking about doing 16 to 17 videos in one day. That's difficult. So when it comes like that, it becomes a bigger issue in my mind where it's like, dang, I don't even want to do it because I also got to do the thumbnails for it and everything. In comparison to just doing it in one shot, after I'm done doing this video, I just do it. And then it takes me like an hour or so, and that's fine. But if I have to do where it's like a big project and I got 4 or 5 of them back to back, that's a big work day. And then it becomes a problem and it holds everything else up. So I guess I'm saying all that to say, of course, that what we learn from different things of what we do in our structure, but also for you, what a learning lesson off of this is that if you have a task at hand, what I've always learned and something I've learned also in the business world is take care of the task one by one. You can't serve 2 masters. Don't wait for a moment where it's like you're all going to do something all in one day or one shot. It's always better to do things one by one. And then you get your work done that way, whatever your systems are going to be. I don't know what your systems are, but it's always better to do something. All right, I'm done with this. Let me finish this out and on to the next. Don't wait for a day where you're like, I'm going to do all these projects or all this stuff at one time and all like one thing. It's not going to work out like that. And mentally, it's going to be more challenging for yourself. So, for example, like we do these paintings, I take a picture of it, and it's just easier for me to go straight into it and just like upload it all at once. Whatever your batches are of work that you're going to be doing, make sure that you're doing it all at once with no distractions and straight to it. No buildup of work is what I'm trying to say to you, I guess. Don't build up your work. Do it all at once. It's called context switching. When you do context switching, it makes your mind more difficult and it makes you seem like you're not getting anything done, but you're all over the place. And a lot of times you don't even finish the difficult work because you're context switching, where it's important for you to, whatever your work is, get it done of whatever the batch is. And then you can focus on the other stuff. Get it done in small segments. Finish everything out in that hour or whatever. No distractions, no phone, no whatever. Just do the work. And you learn from it. So it's a whole system. And then you got to have a checklist because even though I might do this so many times, and even though I know I'm an organized person, I got so many things that I go into place into my production, into my work, and I'm constantly working. If I don't have a checklist in place, I don't even know what the next hour is going to be. And I feel like I lost something. Because of me in my world, if I lose 1 hour that I didn't have the right checklist, then something else is going to be thrown off on the business and it's going to be have an effect. That's why we always talk about pilots and surgeons, even though they've done so many hours of surgery and they've gone to school for that, they have checklists in place because your mind will forget something. So always try to be somewhat better than yesterday, but if not, then just have a checklist of what you could improve on, and then write down the checklist of what that how you're going to implement that into your next day, into your next structure, and try to get done with the stuff as soon as possible within that hour, within the thing, just one shot. It's kind of like what we talked about where if you get a commission today, don't wait until tomorrow or the day after or something like that to do the commission. Trust me, it's going to eat at your mind psychologically and you're not going to want to do it. And then the longer you wait for it, the project's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger into your mind instead of doing it. Just do it, do the work, and then you're going to feel like you're going to feel better because it's out of your head. So it's the same thing with me, what I talked about, right? Where it's like, oh, okay, I shot these live stream videos. I'll just save them and I'll edit them all on Friday. I'll just edit them all over the weekend. No, no, no. Because then what happens is that turns into like a 32-hour project. You get what I'm saying? That turns into like a 32-hour project. Like I had to spend a lot of last week and also this like my whole weekend just um, organizing and editing certain videos that I have. So now what you're going to see this week, you're going to see some really great videos of our live streams that was like from a week ago or 2 weeks ago, because now I was able to, I was like, all right, let me buckle down. I got to edit all of these videos that I forgot to do. And it would have just been better if every single day after I get done live streaming, I would have just sat down and edit that one video. Boom, it sits there in the draft bank, and then on to the next one, and then I have it all ready for the next week. So this week I already have taken care of, for example, right? I already have this week scheduled out. They're already just sitting on YouTube. They have thumbnails, everything's done, right? But now when I'm done with each one of these individually, I'll be able to edit for next week's. But I'm doing them day by day instead of waiting around. Like it gives you more time. It also goes back. It also goes back to this when we talk about work, right? If you want to find the laziest way how to get around work, I'm gonna tell you the secret. If you want to find the laziest way how to get around work and have your structure, the best thing that you can do is work. I say this all the time, and I feel like it goes in one ear and out the other because I know it's difficult for some people to understand. But when I'm talking about eBay or especially work in general, and this is something I learned from one of my mentors, very intelligent guy, when I first started off as a analyst. He said two things. Well, always make things clear as mud, because I mean people are just at different learning levels. But what he said is that I always respect his work ethic, because if you want to make things easier for you in the future, if you want to have time off in the future, if you want to have that weekend off with your family, if you want to get away from work but not have that guilty conscience on you that something's missing or I need to do something, then do the work now. Just get it done. Do the work now. Don't be like, I'm going to wait around, and I'm going to do the work now, and then you buy yourself the freedom. So I always think about that whenever I work hard. People are like, "Dang, Corbellic always works hard." I work hard because I understand that I'm saving myself in the future. I'm not saving myself now. It's like what's the old saying? There's a saying they say the something about the pain that you're either have the pain now or later, but the pain now is better than the pain later. You're gonna have some pain points regardless, is what I'm saying. But which one is it? The pain points now of getting the work done now and just buckling in now is way better than you being on this. I'll get back to whatever. That's the point. That's the stuff that sucks, because those are compound interest. That stuff always adds up. All right, let's see what we have here. See, exactly. I'm having problems with painting for my commission in the eBay art. Yep. We talked about that last week or 2 weeks ago in the live stream as well when we talked about commissions. I hope you were able to check that out. That's a big psychology right there. I won't go too much into it right now because we talked about it a lot. Let's see here. Taurus says we'll catch the rest later off to the post office to mail out the sold items. Congratulations. That's what it's about. Jada Hunter says I'm extremely bad for having a heap of things that are 90% finished because I always get so many ideas and excited about them. I want to finish working on them. Exactly. Pull out all the nuggets. Very smart. Don't let it pile up. Exactly. My anxiety comes from the pile up. This is all things that Discerning Light said on both of those. Okay, thank you, Discerning Light. Exactly. It's so true. JMJDR says short-term pain for long-term pleasure. That's what I'm saying right there. See, that's why I love talking about these things with you guys, because certain points I'm like, some things that I'm saying them incorrectly or I'm not articulating it right or exactly, but you know what I'm saying? Because we've all heard different things and we can just express it more on here of what we're saying because we know what it is, but that's true. It's like short-term pain for long-term pleasure, you know? And these are things that I had to learn as a young man because there's been so many times as a young man, I was addicted to dopamines. And as a young man, I'm thinking that just because I'm intelligent and I'm corbellic, that I could figure it out and I could serve two masters. The thing is, in life, you can't serve two masters. You got to get the work done. Get the work done. You can't serve two masters. Which one is it? And I'm telling you, like, you're going to have pain either way, but the pain now is not pain. The pain now is stuff that you're going to be proud of because you finished the work and you finished it on time. It's just your mind playing tricks on you. The pain later from you not doing the work is going to be the real pain. Which one pain do you want to be? Do you want to have the pain of doing the work and your ego getting involved, or do you want to have the pain of being broke and that you don't have the money and you got to figure it out? By that time, it's real pain because then you got to figure it out and you got bills due or you got whatever. Right now, it's only temporary pain and it's not even real because you're just dealing with being bored or your ego or whatever, but at least that you're being on top of the future pain. The pain is always going to come because bills are due every single day. All right, let's put some, I'm going to do like some red lily pads on here because that's what the projector's showing me. So I'm going to do my own version of the lily pads. These are things that and I always say, I'm going to say this on every stream. The things that I say at times, because you know me, I could be facetious, right? But the things that I say at times too, because I'm a coach, it could be very blunt, but I'm not so necessarily talking to you. I'm saving my past self. These are things that I wish that I was telling myself. These are things that I wish that I had a mature coach as I'm mature now in age that someone was telling me. I wish that I could say this to myself. So when I look at the camera, when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to my past self. These are all life lessons and things that I had to learn, and I wish that I would have. But then at the same point, being a young man, even if I would have had probably a coach like me, would I have been open enough? Would I have been receptive enough to listen to the advice? I don't know. I think about that sometimes. Like, even if I had a time machine, if I could go back and talk to Corbellic from the past, I would probably be so stubborn and so in my ways of ego, I still wouldn't even listen to him. It would be like Marty McFly from Back to the Future, right? And it's like, dude, you need to do this, like, get focused and like take care of your work. And I'd be like, ugh, what do you know? You're wrong. I can serve two masters. Like, are you serious, man? I'm from the future. Like, how are you going to tell me? What are you talking about? Whatever. I'm going to do me. Where is that replay? It's in there. You can probably look for it like under my thing under like commission. But here, I'll break it down for you right now because it's a very great topic and I love talking about it. The thing about commission is this: when you get a commission, and especially if it's from eBay, and especially when you're like us, right? The thing about commission is that finish it as soon as possible because it'll be in the back of your mind. And let's just say somebody paid you $1,000 right now, $2,000 right now. If I push myself and I complete it tonight. So what I was teaching is that as soon as you get a commission, push yourself to complete it tonight. Or if not, tomorrow morning at the latest. Because then the money that you receive, you're going to feel like it's free money. But the longer that time goes on, you're not going to want to do it. It's going to eat at your psychology. It's going to feel like homework. And then you're going to resent the money that you were paid. Because then as time goes on, you're spending a little bit of that money. Or you feel like the time has gone by, so you're not going to feel like that $2,000, that $1,000 is enough that they gave you, because you're equating that money with the time, but the time has already passed by. So now you already got money for something that you have to do. So you feel like you're doing a project for free or whatever. It's the time factor. It eats at your mind, and then it feels icky and you don't want to do it. It feels like a homework assignment. And I always say, be open for commissions, but just get them done as quick as possible. So that way you feel like you came up on them instead of they came up on you. Because if not, you're going to resent the feeling. You're going to resent wanting to do it. Inexperience here. How do I leave super chats? It's at the bottom. It's at the bottom right in the dollar sign. The dollar thingy. It's like on the bottom or the bottom right. But you don't have to. You're already my moderator. You give me enough support every day already. So these are the things that I talked about, and it's important. It was a great conversation that we had. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, because I didn't do a live stream last week. It feels like it was last week. That's how fast time goes by. But it's important when you get a commission, do it as quick as possible. If not, you're going to resent them, and you're going to resent doing it. You don't want to do it. A lot of artists don't like doing commissions because of this. It's a psychology eater. It's weird. But at the same point, it's like, we're starving artists. We need the money. And that's another thing too. Sometimes we get so caught up. Some artists get so caught up into the ego where it's like we're not allowed to say it's icky to talk about the M word. Money. Right? Like we're so caught, we're ashamed to be like, I need that money. Like I need to pay a bill. I got no problem telling somebody, you know, I'm not too prideful in that, especially when it comes to the art. When it comes to eBay too, if I had somebody who didn't pay their bill on time or something, I got no problem reaching out to them and be like, hey, I got bills. I run a business. I got bills due too. I got an employee. Even if you don't have an employee, you can say that to people. Say, hey, I got studio cost here. I got to pay my employee. So where's that money? Like I hate that. I hate that about being an artist, or I hated that about being an artist in the past and negotiating or talk about money. Sometimes it's like you're supposed to act like just because you're an artist and someone wants to buy a painting from you, right? Let's say they want to buy a painting from you for $2,000, $5,000. You're supposed to put on this notion. You're supposed to put on this whole thing like you're a millionaire, like, like we're just sitting around with money. Like I'm rich, so it's okay. It's fine. Yeah, actually, you know what? I'm glad that you hit me up. I always wanted to do this project for free for you. I'm just gonna paint this for free for you. Actually, I don't got nothing else better to do. I'm just balling. I'm rich. I'll do it for free for you. I mean, you know, what's money? We, I eat for free. I'll do this for free. I love it. I love the paint so much. I was waiting for you to call me. I can't wait to do this for free. Like we're, you know, like we're supposed to have that whole type of feeling. No, where's my money? Let me know in the comments if you can relate to how that feels. Where it's like supposed to have that whole icky feeling about talking about money or dealing with money, or like being an artist. We're just supposed to, like, in this day and age. Sometimes too, if you're an artist, right? People think that you're also just supposed to be a financial expert, and you're just supposed to be able to be, you just balance your own money out, right? Like like the people buying the art from us, they're broke more times than any. But they expect for you as an artist, you're just swimming around in money, aren't you? Like, what's the problem? Oh my God, you're asking me for the money? You're the artist. You're just swimming around in it. People think sometimes if people think just because you're an artist that you're just like you're a financial expert, you're a budget expert, you're just swimming around in it. How dare you ask them for the money on the invoice? You kidding? Yeah, right. Like, let's see here. He said it was even worse when I was doctoring. People believe they shouldn't have to pay because healthcare is a right. Right? Exactly. Get out of here with that. I would say tell people all the time, there's no free lunch in America. You think you think the insurance companies aren't getting paid? Only reason the insurance companies was getting paid is because they were lobbying. They were lobbying with ACH. You know, when they talk about Obamacare, really it just made sure that the policies went up, the premiums went up because the insurance at that time knew that they were guaranteed to get their paychecks. Such a scam. Premiums went up, and then you get penalized if you don't want to, and then they knew you get penalized too if you don't want to opt in for that healthcare. That was another video that we did. That was like one of the first streams that we did where we talked about like how healthcare is a scam, and it's even a scam if they tell you like you're working at a company, oh, you get healthcare. What does that mean in 2026? Like, I'll pay for my own healthcare. That's ridiculous. Make more money too. They have you working these dumbass jobs where you all broke and you sitting behind a desk because they lying to you. Oh, you get benefits, you get healthcare. Like, don't talk to me like it's 1987. Those years is over with. You're not gonna slave me to no corporate job sitting at no desk and all that stuff because you're talking about some healthcare that doesn't even exist. I'll pay for my own. I'd rather be my own bank than you banking my money. Why should I? I'm not doing that. All right, let me sign this bad boy and get on to the next one. That video still cracks me up. Sometimes I watch that where it's like when I said on the video, it was like you work these jobs and they're like they act like it's 1987. Well, you get these fringe benefits where you get $30 off at TGIF Fridays, and you get a 40% coupon at the shoe warehouse. Isn't that spectacular? Now go back to your desk. Here, there we go, right there. There's our painting with our lily pads. Ocean, Hawaii. I don't know. Let's put this bad boy down. Like, actually, no, I'd rather just work for myself. Way, it's way riskier to work for a company nowadays than it is for yourself. For yourself, you can make the money. But some people, I get it. They're so conditioned in their mind to. All right, let's see here. All right, now we got a parrot going on here. This is great. This is going to be a great painting. Look at that. That's going to be beautiful. That's going to be a beautiful painting. All right, let's knock this out. All right. We're just getting the paintings a little bit wet. We're going to add a little bit of turquoise there. Look at that. Look at that turquoise. Isn't that nice? We got the real big brush. Look how big that brush is right there. Can't you see that? That's nice. All right, we're going to add a little bit of yellow. Look at that yellow right there. There we go. And then we're going to go in with a little bit of this cream right there. All right, you can see how much like this flesh tone that I have right here. I make this myself. So I'll add like some of the brown, and then I'll add a whole bunch of or I'll add white to it, and I just always do my own flesh instead of buying it. Like even the same with the pink. I make my own pink. I make my own flesh tone. Um, I mean, I'll make my own light blue if I have to. Just have the regular blue and just the white. That's why I buy so many things of white, because white I could just always make my own colors. I mean, we got to be resourceful here. Money don't grow on trees. I want all the profits. Verdant Garden says, working for yourself, you do have to be disciplined and deny distractions. And you're absolutely right. So that's why inside the community, one of my biggest things that I talk about is, you know, not being distracted, working in 90-minute cycles, um, just the mindset of it. Because that's the hardest part that I had to teach myself, is that, you know, when you start working for yourself, you're like, you kind of have this mindset, oh, well, I could do what I want kind of thing, but you really can't. You got to be disciplined. I make sure that I have everything written down, my schedule, my routine, my checklist. I make sure that I have these things really dialed in and focused, so that way I'm on it. Now, don't get me wrong. Like right now, of course, I'm painting and I'm entertaining, I'm talking, we're having a conversation. So this is totally different than when I'm working by myself. When I'm working by myself and I have a podcast on, or I'm in focus mode, I'm knocking paintings out 10 to 12 minutes. I'm knocking them out and then on to the next one. I got to be focused. If not, you lose money. Time is money. So what I always say to myself, and I said this last week, which is so cool and it's very true. If you do this as eBay, and if you really want to treat it like a business, it's okay to say to yourself that you don't work for yourself. Say that you work for the corporation of Corbelic or whatever your business is. Like me, for example, I don't work for myself. I work for Corbelic Studio. Corbelic Studio hired me. But look, check this out. There's been times, I said this 2 weeks ago. There's been times where I didn't treat myself serious and I didn't treat myself disciplined, right? And I had to fire myself, or Corbelic Studio fired me, and I begged him back for my job. I've been I think Corbelic Studio might have hired and fired me at least 3 times in my career, and it sucks. All right, I had to go back begging on my knees, please, Corbelic Studio, please give me my job back. I promise. I'll wake up early. I'll have a structure. I had to show him what my game plan is. I had to show what my checklist is going to be, how the day was going to look. I promise I'll do this, and this is what the day is going to look like. Because think about this: and then Corbelic pays me. He pays me a salary at the end of the week. It always stays the same, no matter how many paintings I do, and no matter what. Because if you work for a company, you do the same thing. You're doing more work when you work at a company, anyways, where you're doing reports and all this stuff. You're making the millions of dollars, and your salary is not going to change. You got paid to do a certain metrics. Same thing when you work for yourself. Pay yourself a certain small salary, and then you're going to be rich, because then that way you're putting your money to the side for the business to invest in canvases, paint, whatever, or emergencies. Hire and fire yourself. This is how I stay disciplined. Let's see here. Joby says Chinese New Year's is coming. Do you think a Chinese feng shui paintings will sell? Yeah, you try everything. Never ask for permission in here with the sell or with the paint. Discerning Light says you're doing double work right now. I'm doing triple work. I'm doing quadruple work. Both getting the paintings done and sharing gems that you will edit into videos, all while building the community for your school. I appreciate you. All right, let's start with the layering of the dark colors. Okay, I'm gonna do a purple on this one and a little bit of blue. It's so cool that you get to see my palette. How's that working out for you? Also, what I did for you, since the room is a little bit like it's a little bit dim, so I can see the projector. What I made sure that what I did for you, but you can't see. You can see how well lit this is still, because I have a light that's right here. Um, I have a light right here that I see my palette. I always work that way as well. So even when I'm not recording with you, when I'm working my lit room, so like right now it's lit. Right now it's fully lit, right? But when I have the lights off, I want to see my palette. So I always have a light that's next to my palette, one that folds down. It's a studio light, and I've always worked like that. So that way I can see my palette. I don't want my palette to be too dark, but it's also good for the camera because you're able to see the how lit it is. So that's just a studio breakdown for you. If I never talked about that, I always have a for years. I always have a studio light that's next to my palette because when I'm working in the dark a little bit or when it's dim, I want to be able to see my palette fully. I need to understand the colors fully. I'm glad I just explained that. That was a cool. All right, look at this. In this one, we're going straight into it. We're going straight into it. We have less than 30 minutes together, so I want to make the next few paintings a little bit faster as I'm warming up, if that's okay. And like I said, when you're doing this alone, like you can really cook these out so quick. You could cook them out because it's like, who cares? We're getting the work done. And you need to have the whys in your mind of why you're doing this. Why? Because we're getting rich. We're getting rich in the next few months. We're going to retire. This is our chance to retire when the great wealth transfer happens. This is the best time to do eBay. The great wealth transfer is happening, and we have the chance, once in a lifetime opportunity to be a part of it. Our job is not going to give us that opportunity to be part of the great wealth transfer. But we can do it ourselves right now. We can give back to ourselves. No one's going to stop us. They've already taken everything from us. What part of that don't you understand? They've already taken everything else from us, so they're not going to take anything else from you. You're going to paint fast. You're going to have no ego involved in it. Well, what do you care about ego for when they've already taken everything from you? They've taken your time away from you. Discerning Light says it's also great for you to be able to share these concepts out loud. I know for myself, it helps me remind myself when I say processes out loud. Very true, but also affirmations, you know. I think what feels good is that, like I said, I'm talking to my previous self, but I'm also talking to you. We're saving lives out here. I'm not being funny when I'm saying that. That's how I put my mindset. That's the only reason that I'm doing this, is so that I'm talking to my past self. But if I could save someone else, if I could help people, then that's worth everything to me. I'm saving lives out here. Oh, look at that. That bird's beautiful already. You kidding me? Now let me just dry this off and then I could go into the thingy and then that's it. You say these things out loud, but you believe it. You know it's true. You put them out there. That's how I was able to live my life, by being a time walker of sorts, you know, a time traveler. You have to say these things, the things of who you want to be in the future, of who you want to be in the next 3 months, of what you want to happen. You have to put it out there. You know the most successful people, they say that in order for you to manifest, in order for you to get the things that you want, you have to be delusional. What do they always say about geniuses and people who are successful? They always say, oh, that person's delusional. That person's crazy because they can't see what you see right now. Right now, you're being a different form of the version of who they see in reality, but you're able to change your reality by being who you were meant to be today. And it costs nothing. That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of gratitude. That's the beauty of God, is that it costs you nothing to be who you were meant to be today. And the people who don't want you to be that, they're going to filter themselves out by already showing you their frequency, or showing you that they don't want you to change. They can see the change in you. Or they say to you, well, why are you changing today? Who are you to change today? Why don't you just wait until you get the $1 million, or wait until you're in shape, and then it's okay for you to change? They don't understand, in order for you to get the $1 million, in order for you to get in shape, you have to do the change today that is for free. You have to wake up early in the morning. You have to do the work today. You have to do these things today. You know, you see this beautiful person, you see this person who's in shape, you see these people who have money. If you ever say to yourself, you need to start saying to yourself, if I wanted to be that person with that lifestyle, or the relationships, or whatever you're just saying, I don't know, I'm throwing things out there. What would it look like for me in my day? What would my day look like if I was that person? What would it look like? Or whatever that looks like, half of that, write it down and start doing it today. It costs you nothing. That's the beauty of that God gave you. He gave you 2 arms and a leg, and 2 arms, 2 legs, a brain, 2 ears, so you can start doing these things today. And then in the future, in the near future, you become of what you write down. When you write down, and you'll go back to your notes and you'll be like, wow, I wrote this down. You'll be proud of yourself. I wrote this down. This is what I envisioned my life to look like. And it's not, I envision my life to look like this one day, so I'm still going to serve two masters, and I'm still going to binge watch TV. I'm still going to not do the work, but I'm hoping that one day I'll look like that. No, you write these things down, and then whatever that you envision, whatever that life, your ethic, your work style would be, your work ethic, that's what you start doing now for free. It costs you nothing. Then you're going to see that you're able to be that. God is going to grant that to you, because God loves work and gratitude. I'm telling you, I always tell you, I spent $100,000 on coaching, seminars, and these are the things that they teach. These are the real things. All of them have in common that they don't teach normies or whatever. And you know, the sad part is, a lot of these things that and you can get the information for free, but you know the reason why these high-end coaches end up charging so much money is because once you put your money down, you have more of a psychological effect of manifesting it and believing it and putting it in the work and action. If somebody gives you a diet, right, and they give you a diet routine, Successful businesses know that if they give you that for free, you're not going to do it. You're not going to want to implement it. You got it for free. You're a freeloader, right? You're being lazy. But if you actually put down $10,000, $20,000, you have more of an incentive and a psychological effect to actually implement it, to do these things. We all know these things. That's why you need a coach. Billionaires, millionaires out there, every single one of them, they have a mentor, they have a coach. That's why I say, if you're not already part of the elite community, join us and we'll get your mind right. You can start doing this and start making sales as early as next week. I didn't say you're going to make $1 million next week, but you will make sales. And then from there, you'll know that it's possible and that you're capable of doing it. You're capable of doing anything. From there, it's up to you of where you want to scale and doing the work. From there, you're going to know it's possible. For me, that was the miracle that happened for me. I was doing so much gallery work and I was doing it for free. I was doing all this beautiful Instagram stuff. But the miracle that happened for me is when I got my first sales on eBay. I don't even remember what it was. I remember I was giving away, it was gallery artwork that I've already had, but I needed to get it out of the storage. I was renting a storage facility because I had so much gallery artwork. Sold it on eBay. They went for like, maybe 99 cents or $1, whatever it was at the time. It didn't matter because I knew how to scale my business. At least I was collecting a collector, that I was getting myself out there. From there, it was like a light bulb went out. I still remember the day like it was yesterday. Changed everything. All right. On this one, I'm going to do a red frame. It's kind of my thing. That's the framings. So with this video, when we're talking about it's the best time right now in 2026 to sell art on eBay, not only because there's so much liquidity that's about to come into the market, which is true, and people are going to be buying so much art, but it's the time that there's the greatest wealth transfer and that you can actually make it bigger than anything that you have ever done in your life, which is making it about freeing yourself. Like you can actually put yourself in position to not work again. Rich people, or should I say wealthy people, none of them, not even if you're thinking of the richest people or an Elon Musk or whoever, none of them have ever gotten wealthy because of them saving money. Saving money, that's for normies and broke people. None of them ever got wealthy from just the money itself. Instead, the money that you save, you can still save the money, but always think of your savings as the investment. Everybody gets rich and wealthy from the investments. Learn how to invest your winnings, and it costs you nothing. It costs you nothing at all. It costs you nothing. So pretty soon, this week, I'm creating a money mindset course. How to get started. It costs you nothing to start investing. You could do it in small increments, $10 a week. You could put it up onto automatic, $10 a week. It doesn't matter, and it just goes into a certain one. But by that time, you're not even realizing it, and then you already accumulated so much. It's better than anything. It's going to compound more than what a bank can. Verdant Garden says renting storage for unsold paintings had to be a depressive situation. It was very depressing. Very depressing. It's even more depressing too when you're like in a relationship and they want to support you and be like, but at the same point, it's just such a reminder looking at all this artwork that's not being sold and you're doing everything right, the traditional way of what you're supposed to be doing. You're doing everything right. Cause I mean, you have nothing to lose. I had nothing to lose. I'm doing everything right. I'm doing the gallery shows. I'm doing the art fairs. I'm doing the celebrity paintings. I'm in LA at this time, right? I'm in LA and I'm grinding it hard. And I got all the connections. I mean, I'm talking about I know all the biggest people, right? And I'm doing it hard, but it's just not it because then I'm looking at the real underbelly of how it works, and it doesn't work that way. A lot of it, the ones that actually do sell, it's money laundering, and it's not real, or it's propaganda. You get paid to do propaganda pieces, and I'm just not really about that, to be honest with you. I just can't do it. So a lot of times you'll see big artists get big, but then when they get big, all of a sudden you see them on a red carpet and they got to have some message for you. The message is not them. The message is a PR, and they're getting paid for the art of whatever they're doing. That's where it comes from. Let's see. All right, well, I'm done on this one. This was a cool painting. But yeah, very depressing. Storage. Oh, look at that parrot right there. Look at that. Isn't that nice? It's a beautiful birdie. Come on. These are always great. I love it. It's so great. So fun. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think about our birdie. Boom. Let me check on y'all in the stream here. Let's see what we got going on. All right. Leave them likes if you haven't already. Over here doing the Lord's work. Got the palette set up over here. Over here dropping gems and doing some great work. Leave the likes over here. All right. Let's go on to the next painting. What is the next painting? Let's do some. All right, now let's do some. I'm going to do a 16 by 20. I'm going to do two 16 by 20s and then call it quits. Or actually, no, this is going to be the last painting. It's getting late. Because I got to edit after this. Hey, Treasure. Happy to see you here. You came on time. This is the last painting. And this is going to be a good one. Right? Look at that. There's our 4 horsemen right there. Native 4 horsemen. All right. So when it comes to doing these backgrounds on this one, just wet the canvas just a little bit. That way it's easier for the acrylic to flow through. Don't want to paint on something that's like a dry towel, right? Boom, like that. All right, now let me go into my light blue because I'm gonna layer this one. It looks better when it's layered. Like we'll have the baby blue up top, just a little bit of the dark blue. Now you see how I do my palette, right? When I'm into the paint and when I do it, I'm not too worried about it if certain of the colors touch because I already have a design where the colors that are touching it's not too much of a mess. Like I don't have the dark color next to a white, or I don't have too much. Like all of them, any of the colors that touch each other, they're fine because they're already similar to each other. That way, if they do touch, it's not an issue. I've been doing it like this for years. So like if my brown and my white touch, that's fine because they're very similar. They're going to touch anyways. Back from the post office. I hope they scan those boxes for you. Make sure you get that receipt if you do drop them off. Because I'm telling you, if not, sometimes they won't even. The only scan that you'll see is when it arrives to the city destination, and then it's like eBay doesn't know, you know. And sometimes it's just like a hit or miss if they want to ding your account for that or not, and we want to avoid that. All right, now let's do the dark brown a little bit because it's going to be the bottom. Let's mix it in with a little bit of orange. A little bit of orange, yeah, a little bit of orange. And it's going to be so beautiful. We got our horsies here. We got our horsies, and they're just out about to go out and go on their warpath. Yeah, it's going to be great. They're going to have a nice picnic with the settlers. Yeah, it's going to be real nice. All right, so look, there's our background right there. It looks really good. I make sure that it's layered up. So we have our blue, we have our kind of pinkish, and then our brown at the bottom. All right, so now let's dry this off. Boom. Verdan says colors look like they are grouped by value and temperature. I never went to art school, so I'll take your word for it. It sounds about right. The temperature part, at least, it sounds about right. Right? Yeah, like the temperature. Yeah. White, flesh tone, then the pink. It's like, yeah, by temperature. I make sure that I put the darker brown or the sienna next to the light brown because it's the same thing. And then the darker one over here, green, very somewhat similar to a turquoise, even if that touches. And then also the blues. And then anytime, even if I want to make my blue a little bit darker, I can just use some of the black. On this one, I'm going to work this one both ways. I'm going to start off with a darker, like a darker brown or a darker red on our areas to do the highlight part, the dark parts. And then I'm going to layer on top of it with the colors. And then I'm going to come back again with the dark. I just burned myself. Joby says, do you guys talk about large painting sales and shipping? I have some in storage to get rid of. Yeah, we talk about that as well. Talk about it all. All right, let's do this. Yeah, you have to ask the post office for that too. Sometimes they act like they don't even want to do their job, like they're mad that they got to scan it for you. That pisses them off. That they got to do their job. The people who work at the post office, some of them may act like they work at the. They have the same personality, like they work at the DMV. And it's mostly because they're union. Union workers act like they're protected by their job, so they don't have to work if they don't want to. You know what I'm talking about. Like they work at like TSA or something. This one, this one, you know how we do our last ones, our last paintings of the day. We really go loose on it because I'm excited that It's like the day's over with for painting, so I get to do what I want on the last one. Just get it done and over with. But not for you though. You still have to paint. You still keep it going. You still rock it out, okay? You still keep painting. You don't stop. You keep going. You work faster. You work harder. Free yourself. I'm working hard now so I can free myself. Make it bigger than just the money amount. Some because you're a lot of times you already hit that dollar metrics and then what? Make it bigger than that. I'm working hard so I can free myself. Like I can't make my goals right now about money because I've already hit all the metrics of the money that I wanted to make. It has to be bigger than that. It's to free myself. It's to help people. It's to make sure my family can retire, not just me, my family can retire in a couple years. It's that my members can retire in a couple years by putting in the work. Free yourself. Free other people. Be like Moses. And you see how loose I love doing it like this when I'm just really going loose with it because it all comes together. And it's kind of in the impression of what we're doing. People understand the impression of what's going on, of what you're trying to relay here. And I love doing these native paintings. People love them too. They always do very well. It doesn't matter how many of these I paint, they always do well. Like I could just put this on the buy it now, or I could not even put it into the store. I could put it into a gallery. That's great to hear, Stargate, that your post person picks it up from you. I have a great postal person as well too, where he's not even like a regular carrier. He's just someone that picks up special orders from me because I do so many paintings where he has one of those big postal van trucks. And he only picks up like large orders from companies and things like that. So I have his personal phone number, and I'll just text him and be like, "Hey, I got an order today." Like I don't even have to do in a special order or one of those pickup requests. But I do show inside the community too how you could do a pickup request as well, because by law they have to pick it up once you put those in. Like it's it's part of the federal government. They have to pick them up. But I just call up my guy and then he comes and picks them up, and it's great. I don't have to worry about it because I'm not going to the post office, especially when it comes to that many paintings. Like, what am I supposed to do? Pick them up and put them in the car and all that? I'm not doing that. That's your job. You do that. Kidding me? What are we talking about here? Do your job. So this is my last painting, and then I still have a lot of work to do. But you got to keep going. I need you to do 70 more paintings today, and you'll be fine. 70 more paintings, Corbellic. What are you talking about? You mean I actually got to show up to work? My God. I don't want to work. Tell me the number. I don't know. If you put in your mind that you want to retire this year, or that you want to get your family out of a situation, or if you put yourself in a mindset where this is the year for the greatest wealth transfer, then how many paintings would you do? What time would you wake up in the morning if you had that mindset where it's not just about like you only have this one opportunity before AI comes and takes your job away? Like, am I supposed to sit on here and lie to you that robots aren't coming within a year? And they already have them ready. They're just waiting for production, but they're also waiting for certain regulations. They already have them. Like they're coming. You want me to lie and say that robots aren't going to be painting, that robots aren't going to be doing this work, and then people are going to take it and just sell it? What are you talk like? What are we talking about here? We already see where we put in certain concepts into AI art apps and our prompts, and we can see the art that comes out of there where it already looks like art. You think they can't program that into the robot and the robot can't figure that out in a year or so? Get your money now. Figure these things out now before the change happens. Don't be mad at me for telling you that the change is happening. I do this for a living. I know what I'm talking about. You can't stop it. I didn't write the code. I'm not, it's not me. I'm just saying for you how to, like I said, we're about to be in a part where of history where you could be broke for a long time, if not ever, and your family's going to be broke, or you could put yourself in the mindset that you have the chance to be part of the great generational wealth transfer. The biggest internet bubble is happening right now under your feet. I mean, those are the type of things, at least for me, that helps me work so hard, that makes it bigger than me. Because the world is changing around me, and I want to be in position. Like if I put you in position right now and I told you certain things to put your money or invest in, but I'm not a financial advisor, or suggest it, and then let's just say you also see it on TV. Boom! If you see it on TV, you're already too late. But if you're in a situation where you could see that you could have an influx and you could have had your money in it, but you don't even have no money to put into it. You don't even have no extra money. You don't even have an extra $100. You don't have an extra $1,000 to put into a situation that could help you retire in less than a year, or retire off of the AI. You don't even have that. You know, like if you don't have, like, you don't put yourself in that position. Who's to blame? I can't blame anybody but myself. Those are the type of situations that I always like that kept me up at night. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Look, what used to keep me up at night is like I knew that the change was happening. And what if I'm not in a position or I don't even have enough money to invest in the change that's happening? And it happens, and then here I am, I'm with the normies. And I had the chance, the once in a lifetime opportunity where the degenerates, the peasants of us, we can actually break free from it. And I didn't have, it's up to me, and I don't even have an extra whatever XYZ amount of money to invest in it. That's horrible. Then what did I do with myself? We spend so much money on mundane stuff all the time. And the reason why a lot of times people's energy feels off and people don't feel good about themselves, it's because when you went out to eat or you bought a Starbucks or you bought whatever, that there's something out there that you probably could have done better with the money, but you didn't. Now, compound that over years, over a month, and you could have invested in something to free yourself, but you didn't. Instead, you wasted it on normie, broke stuff. And you could have freed yourself, but you didn't. That's the stuff that would keep me up. That's the stuff that used to be like where I would be in bed and I'm like, I can't sleep. I'm going back to the studio and I'm about to work. Because at least in it would give me less anxiety. Like work helps with anxiety. If you're someone where you have anxiety, like I used to have anxiety off of things that because I can't off of things I can't control. Only thing that I can control is making sure I show up to work. So a lot of artists have this problem as well too. I think I've learned about it. It was from this other gallery artist when I first started painting. She says the reason that she likes working is because it helps her with her anxiety. The only thing that helps her with her anxiety is the work. Because if not, it's like you're waiting around for probables that you can't solve. So I used to sit up at night in the bed and I used to be like, man, like I would hate to be in a situation where I can't even play the game. I don't have an extra XYZ amount of money to play the game to free myself. And then who am I going to blame when there's so many ample opportunities in the market where you could have done it because the market crashed or there was a dip in the market. Like imagine there's a major dip in the market. Like that's when you're supposed to buy because everything is cheap. It's on sale. Like right now, everything is on sale, right? Everything is on sale. Imagine if you could go back and buy Microsoft back in the late 80s, or if you could buy certain stocks, or if you could buy certain crypto that were so cheap. Everything is on sale right now. But look at you. Do you have an additional $1,000, $2,000 to put yourself in position? So then when the AI bubble, which is bubbling right now, and the chips are already being made and they're ready to go, and then in less than a year, you could retire? Or did you put yourself in that position? These are the things that I think about that helps me work harder. Like I said, if you feel like it's like I said, I'm talking to my future self. But if you feel like it's hitting a note for you, then it is hitting a note. It's meant to. Think about these things when you're working. Stop being so nice to yourself, but also don't be mean to yourself either. Joby says, I feel like working with eBay is like being your own factory. In a way, we are a slave to ourselves and eBay. You hit it dead on the head. It is like that. It is like that, but it's also a way. It's up to you though, who has control of it, you or eBay. You can make it worse or you can make it better. I mean, you're not lying because I said this to myself. It is true. You do work for eBay and you could be like a slave to eBay and you could be like a slave to yourself, but only if your ego is involved and you don't want to do the work. So if you have a structure of where you're supposed to show up to work and you're not just like putting your ego to the side and just creating work, creating the factory. You think the factory cares about it? Like you think the factory cares about the work and you're just showing up and doing the production. As long as you can do that, then you beat eBay and you beat yourself. You beat it. You beat the system. You're also beating the reseller. I don't think about these paintings. I'm not even like there's so many times where a painting it'll get sold or I'll see something from years later where somebody will be like, they'll show me artwork that I've done and I forgot that I've done it. Like this painting that I'm doing right here, I'll forget about it. It never even happened. And especially because I'm talking to you. I beat the game. Nothing's going to stop me from getting my goals and beating the game. Nothing is going to stop me. Nothing. Not even myself. I'm going to put myself in a position where I have that money for the change. That once in a life opportunity comes, and then the opportunity comes, and then you're going to look at the news when it happens, and then some certain people are going to get rich, but not you. And then you're going to say to yourself, well, I remember hearing about that one time with Corbellic. It was a year ago. I was on his live stream. He told me about these opportunities. I remember hearing about these things. You're going to be one of those people. I remember hearing about it, but you didn't have a chance to do anything about it. Don't be that person. We all know that person. We all know that feeling. We're all guilty of it. You had a chance to do something for yourself, and a once in a lifetime opportunity to free yourself. It's a horrible feeling. Aleph said that's better than going to a job to play that game. Exactly. I got more control over my life than playing that. Had to be nice to myself on Saturday because I had a seizure. Sorry to hear about that. I hope you feel better. Prayers to you. I'm happy that you're here right now, and I hope that this stream is bringing some light to you and your life, and it's uplifting your frequency. Hope that this is serving you well. All right, now let me just take the black, touch in on this a little bit, and then we're almost there. Let me know in the comments if that makes any sense what I'm saying. Don't have me out here feeling like I'm dropping these gems in silence. Or maybe it just makes sense to me. Maybe you're not at that point yet in your life. And that's fine too. Like we said, can't can't force a horse, right? Isn't that funny? We're doing a horse right now. We're just talking about that. Can't force the horse to drink the water. It's no point in I always say to God, I don't want I don't want just me to be in the knowledge of whatever things that I know, and I'm the one and other people of the knowledge to be the ones to only prosper and to get rich in the great wealth transfer. I want my people to also get rich as well too, where there's no fun in that. I want you to be there as well with me. All right. I love this. These always come out great. There's no right or wrong in these. All right. Brenda says we are slaves to our bosses. I hate that word bosses, like boss, because I feel like I'm my own only boss. Like if I ever worked a corporate job, you're my director, you're my manager, but you're never my boss. I'm my own boss. Or Corbelic Industries is the boss, right? But I do that just to have the mindset where it's like we are sovereign individuals. God is the boss. Me and God are the boss. We're together in this. He is I and I am him. All right, let's do something like this. I don't know what I'm doing. Just some different colors coming from the horse, his feet, make it majestical. I think that's cool. Like windy kind of thing. Right? I don't know. All right. There we go right there. Boom. Looking great. I'll put my signature on here. And there we go. Let's see here. 717 Best says there's a great book, The Power of Partnership by Diane Essler. I have to check that out and put that part of my Audible. All right, look at this painting right here, huh? Isn't this fun? Isn't this beautiful? Look, we just did this together. There's our four horsemen right there. I think that's a perfect painting. To kind of recap what we were just talking about this whole stream is that you still have to do the work. And even though we give out knowledge, even though you could be in the right situation, is that you can't lead a horse to water. You could try to drag them to the water and you could tell them all the advice that you can, but you can't lead a horse to water to make them drink the water. So, prayer is no substitute for hard work. You still have to do the work. You still have to show up and do the paintings. You still have to do the stuff. And look at that right there. I mean, whatever. Either it's great or it's not great. There's some parts of it I would probably add white to, but I'm not going to go backwards. It is what it is. It's a great painting. It's fun. I'm waiting for a painting that literally says, I don't know what I'm doing. I already have a painting like that. That's what one of my, here, let me show you this. This is what one of the members had sent me about a month back. Check this painting out that one of the members did for me. One of the members sent me this painting of myself, and it says, look, I, with the symbol of the eyeball, I don't know what I'm doing. Boom, look at that right there. Isn't that cool? I thought that was pretty cool. That was very nice for them to send that to me. So I'm very honored. Out here saving lives. If I can help people, that's what it's all about. Exactly. It's all about showing up. A fan sent that to him saying that once. Oh, it's not a fan. It was actually a member of the community. So I don't consider any of you guys fans. We're family. We're part of the community. We're here for each other. I had a great time today. It's kind of a nice warm up way for me to get back into the live stream, into the painting. Had a slow hiccup at the beginning because of technical difficulties, but whatever. I hope that you like this new setup over here of the palette. Let me know in the comments what you thought about that new setup today. That was pretty cool, right? Of like how we get to actually see the paint structure and how I'm able to go along with my paint. You can see how much paint that I actually put in here. I put a lot of paint. I mean, actually, this looks like a little bit of paint really to me, but I go through a lot. I'm telling you, the fun part for me, even though I really enjoy doing this with you and I love showing up, I love dropping these gems and talking. I really love also when I turn the camera off and then I do like another 2 to 3 hours of painting because then I'm just in my own mind and then there's really no judgment at all. Then I can really let the ego go and whatever. I'm still human, even when I'm painting with you and I'm letting these paintings go. I still have ego that's involved because I feel like I'm being watched, right? It's a human thing. But when I'm not being watched, really I just let the ego really go. So now I'm like, I can really get messy and I can do whatever I want and I just knock the paintings out. So I want you to feel that way too. At least that you're not painting live and you don't have people watching you. You could just show up, do whatever you're doing. No one's judging you either way. Like as long as you're putting the paintings out there, then the work is already going to be there. God has already created the work. God has already created you. We're all creators. It's already there. I appreciate everybody here. I appreciate the super chats. If you haven't already, please leave a like in the comments. If you're not already a part of the elite community, the link is there. It's pinned to the top in the chats. It's also in the description. You can join us in there so that way you can get started, learn how you can do this for yourself. Free yourself. That was the big conversation that we had on this one right here, is that this is the best year that you can free yourself. All right. Please free yourself. That's the biggest thing that I really want. That's my biggest passion this year, is how many people that I could bring along. It's not just about making the money. It's about what to do with the money, how to free yourself, how to be financially set. So that way you can have the investments go into the AI technology bubble. All right. I'm going to be here again tomorrow, 8:30. Everything's going to be streamlined better because I've learned whatever. Let me read some comments in here before getting out. Very cool, good stuff. I appreciate you. Thank you. That was an amazing video. Great setup. Enjoyed the video. Let's see here. Yeah, you didn't use that much, so good to see. Exactly. Yep. It was beautiful to have this today. Thank you, and thanks for everybody here supporting Corbelic. Love to all. Yeah, I love you guys. Thank you. Big thanks, Corbelic. I am inspired. To you, Jade. Yeah, I appreciate you. You inspired me as well. So like I said, click the link, join us. Most of these people that are here in the super chat, are in the chat. They're already part of the community. So we'll help you along with your way, your journey. If you want to do this yourself, all the templates, everything is there for you. You don't have to be tech savvy. It's very simple. You can set everything up, got the videos, copy and paste, boom, ready to go, help you as well. Got Q&A chats every weekend as well on Sunday. So it's all cool. All right, so I'm gonna take a little bit of break, edit this video like I promised you that I would. Then I'm gonna come back 2 to 3 hours, paint some more, and then I'll be back tomorrow. All right, so I appreciate you guys, and that's all I got. Boom.